Let's go over some Spurs news and notes that you may have missed, and then talk about Wemby, Team France, Team USA, and we worried about Wemby kind of hitting some burnout.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Spurs on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you all have a great start to your work week. And as always, we appreciate you subscribing to Locked On Spurs wherever you get your favorite podcast. iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Ken's 5 Plus app. The list goes on and on. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. So what are we talking about today? Catch up some Spurs news and notes, and then discuss Team France, Wemby, Team USA, the Olympic basketball tournament, just real quick, and then discuss whether we should be worried about Wemby hitting burnout into next season. And then you guys are leaving a couple of comments on the Locked On Spurs YouTube page. We're going to be picking two, see what y'all are talking about over there. So, some Spurs news and notes that you may have missed, and just, best of luck to Sean Elliott. Over the weekend, Sean Elliott and his wife shared on social media that he had a little bit of a heart scare. He had AFib, which basically is a condition where your heart kind of is irregular, it just beats irregularly. And it was an Apple Watch that detected it and warned him. So he released that news yesterday, and a lot of Spurs fans were sending him well wishes. He's doing fine. They had a procedure to put his heart back on track. He was a little bit groggy. His wife posted video of Elliott kind of coming out of it, and he was craving chicken. Yeah, all types of chicken. Chicken salad. He picked something, that's what he wanted. So it was hilarious. But Sean is doing good. All smiles. And you want to read more about that, you want to go to kens5.com/Spurs. And of course, let Sean know your thoughts are with him as well. In other Spurs news, we'll be discussing this briefly. Victor Wembanyama and Team France started off their Olympic run 1-0. They picked up for their first win to start group play. They'll continue on. We're going to be discussing more about Team France and Wemby in just a few minutes. But so Wemby and Team France are off to a good start. In other Spurs news, the Spurs have signed David Duke Jr. to a two-way deal. The Spurs announced this a few days ago. Thus, another two-way deal was given out to David Duke Jr. As of now, it looks like the roster is complete. There could be a minor move here and there. Who knows, might stand out during training camp, preseason. But it looks like the Spurs will be running it back for the most part. David Duke Jr. Did participate in the Spurs Summer League. He played with the Spurs, Austin Spurs G League team last year. So, they gave him a two-way deal. Another guard to add to the mix of guards that they already have. So that'll be interesting to see, how the Spurs utilize him. He'll likely just be in Austin for the bulk of the next season. And finally, in some Spurs news, it's mural news. Yes, a new Spurs mural has gone up in the city of San Antonio, and it's very colorful. I got a picture of here. This is courtesy of Chris Leha of MCS General Contracting. Make sure to follow Leha on X at CLeha3. Here it is. There's your new mural that's in San Antonio. As you can see, depicts Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Wemby. Has kind of the Spurs Fiesta color vibe going on there, but it has Chris Paul in there with a ball on fire, apparently. And at least in this mural, they gave him the number 3. So this artist feels confident that Chris Paul will be number 3. That has not been kind of sorted out yet. See the the city of San Antonio, the background there, the skyline of it. But another mural. It looks like they got Wemby pretty spot on. Manu close. CP3 looks there. Duncan looks a little non-Duncan. But look, the point is, that's another mural for everybody to go and check out in San Antonio. There's been so many murals that have been popping up lately. There's this one. There's one just with CP3 in San Antonio. So there's been many of them. This one is located, if you're in San Antonio, on Fresno and Blanco. So go out there, check it out. Can't miss it. Look at the whole wall. It's all purple. And you got 4 Spurs in their white jerseys there. But overall, a good thing. I love how this just shows how much the community and the Spurs, are so woven together. And Spurs fans really, really love their Spurs, don't they? So If you're in San Antonio, go check out that mural. That wraps up some Spurs news and notes. Coming up next, I'll be joined by San Antonio Sports Star's very own James Pledger. We're going to be looking at Team France and Wemby. Ask the question, should we be concerned about Wemby hitting the wall next season with the amount of games he's playing? That and more coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs. Hey, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. You want to go to gametime.co right now. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster, easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer you get to first pitch. Killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seats, so much more. Lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Not only they got the lowest price guarantee, they have event cancellation protection, job loss protection, every ticket you can think of for every event in your area. They got last-minute deals. That's basically you can save up to 60% off buying last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. You got all-in pricing. You got a toggle feature on the app that allows you to see the total up front, no surprise fees. Views from your seat, yeah, you get a panoramic view of your seat in the app before you buy. And the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Also want to talk to you about Muslinger's Drive-Thru Coffee. Go there right now, San Antonio, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. That's in the 21 to 1604 area. They got it all. They got lattes, cold brews. What else they got? Oh, they got dairy alternatives. They got mini donuts. That menu is so vast. You're going to love it. Friendly staff, good location, open every single day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Follow them on social media at Muslinger SATX. Always surprising fans with new drinks. It feels like daily or just weekly. There's something new you can always discover at Muslinger's Drive-Thru Coffee. They even got the Lightning Bolt series that includes the Alien, which is a drink made in honor of Victor Wembanyama. Those are drinks that will supercharge your day, keep you going, get you through the day. Just a heads up, though, the default will now be Lotus Energy. That's 7 power plant extracts in the mix now. But if you like Red Bull, they'll still have that on. Basically ready for you, but it's going to be the default of Lotus Energy. Those 7 power plant extracts will allow them to create new drinks, but again, Red Bull will still be there if you need it. Go to Muslinger's Drive-Thru Coffee right now, San Antonio, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive, open every single day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Life is too short for bland coffee.
The Jedi uses the Force. To subscribe to Locked On Spurs, pass on what you have learned.
And we're now look, he doesn't need any introduction, but we're going to have to interview for those listening in. He is James Pledger, San Antonio Sports Star's very own. Follow him on X at @IamPledger. Always rocking and representing his old high school. Look at that.
Hell yeah. Rangers Valley, we will be, baby.
So why is James here? Well, we're going to be discussing Wemby, Team France, and are we worried about burnout from the big man? And then get into your thoughts, Locked On Spurs comments. That'll be up in just a few minutes. By the way, make sure to check out Extra Innings with Pledger, only on 94.1 The Star. We're going to be talking about that in just a few minutes. But Pledger, thank you for hopping on Locked On Spurs. And hey, the Olympics are underway, and Team France and Wemby got off to a nice start, 1-0 to start group play. Wemby, pretty strong outing for Team France, huh?
Wemby looks damn good. He had the Michael Jordan Space Jam dunk, just eviscerating people both in qualifiers and now in group play. So he looks like he's taking that next step, and it's really awesome to see.
You know, we get at different levels of competition here, Olympic, international versus NBA, but the point is that he's showing more moves, more an array. The step back, Dirk kind of looking shot that he makes, can't stop that. But his jump shot, he's already towering above the defender. It's not even close. Knocking down threes. But I still like what I'm seeing out of Olympic play, at least through one game in exhibition play, is that he's still looking to find his teammates. And he gets hyped whenever he makes an assist and you see a guy go for a dunk or make a shot. That I really think gets underappreciated from Wemby.
Yeah, I mean, he is a selfless player for as great as he is. And he's very much looking to keep the rest of his team involved, and he does a really good job of knowing when to take over versus knowing where the easy open bucket is. And he has mastered that with Team France and does a great job of spreading the wealth and also taking over games when he has to. We saw it at times down the stretch with San Antonio with, how well he worked with Mamushkishvili and Devontae Graham and some of the other players that he was playing with late in the season. It's going to another level, and as a Spurs fan, that should be exciting as hell.
Yeah, and look, Team France is stacked. It's not just Wemby. You got Fournier, you have Batum, you have Gobert, you got a well-tenured coach on the sideline, Collier. This team is primed and ready. Is Wemby and Team France a threat for that gold medal? Because it looks like I think the projections are France, USA, Germany, and I'm missing one other team. Canada. They seem to be the mix of fighting for medals. But is
a threat? Yes.
Yeah,
in layman's terms, yes, they are a threat just because of what Gobert and Wemby can be in the Olympic game down low with no goaltending, the ball on the rim stuff like that. That A, they know the international game better, and B, they are really good. So threat, yes. And this is obviously coming after the fact of seeing what Team USA did to Serbia earlier. So
them,
Team USA finally looked good. They had struggled throughout the exhibition play as they were finding their footing. And the crazy thing is Jason Tatum didn't even play.
Yeah, not a minute. Yeah, not a second. He's a bench player on Team USA. That tells you how stacked they are. They are just
not only is he a bench player, he's a bench player they didn't use.
Yeah,
I mean that's terrifying.
Ridiculous. Yeah,
but in terms of like Joel Embiid being in foul trouble a lot and just not quite really knowing the Olympic game as well and adjusting to it as easily, I think that can be a problem down low when you're talking about a Gobert and a Wembanyama for Embiid. But it's going to be very interesting to kind of see if they're on a collision course to meet and what that's going to look like, because I do think they are a threat. It's just, remember, Team USA is built with Durant and Steph and Booker and LeBron and Anthony Davis. Like, while everybody's got, a Batum and a Fournier, they've got NBA role players surrounded by a defensive player of the year and a rookie of the year. Like, it is legitimately just a bunch of MVP candidates on Team USA. Exactly. So it's not the same across the world, and for good reason. Like, the bulk, while we make this big deal about all the Olympics and the rest of the world catching up, individually players have caught up, but let's not get it twisted. The bulk of the talent still lies in the U.S. While there's a Luka Doncic and a Joker and a Wemby on all of these teams, USA was filled with 7 to 8 of them, and they fill it in with like the perfect role players like Derek White and Drew Holiday.
Yes, Team France is looking good. They'll be in the mix for a medal run, whether it be gold, bronze, or silver. Team Canada is looking pretty strong too. I just look up. Got SGA, Dylan Brooks. We got what's that guy from the Raptors? RJ, the former Nick. I forgot.
RJ Barrett.
RJ Barrett. They have Murray from the Nuggets. I mean, they're a stacked. Sure. They're a stacked team, but again, I don't see. Just put it this way: if they do collide with Team USA or France, I think it's going to be fireworks and be fun.
With Canada, I'm less concerned for Team USA in general, just because USA's already put it to them a couple of times, and I don't think they have the size to be able to match up against the team. Like, yes, they've got RJ Barrett. Yes, they've got Murray. Yes, they've got Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. But it's a bunch of guard play. And they can match the guard play, but also have LeBron and Anthony Davis. So Canada is a threat because of the backcourt talent, but I think they will fall short because they don't have the size to be able to compete with a France or Team USA.
Yeah, no, but circling back to Wemby and Team France, they're looking good. Granted, the tournament just started, but they were a little shaky in exhibition play. They lost, 4 games straight in exhibition play. Kind of off, but look, that's what the exhibition basically is preseason for the Olympics. It's for, and at least through one game as of recording, Team France and Team USA look good. But with Wemby playing, should Spurs fans, they're always going to be worried about injury, but the long-term picture here, are we worried about burnout? He's going to be going to his second season. He's going to have a short time off after the Olympics are done. We're anticipating a long medal run for Team France. Is that something that Spurs fans should just accept now, that maybe he won't look like Wemby to start the season? Maybe he'll be Wemby as the season moves on, like especially after the All-Star break.
No, you don't have to worry about burnout with Wemby. Like, the only thing you legitimately have to worry about with Wemby is going to be injury. That is your only concern with him. Burnout is not my concern. The guy has been hooping since he came out of the womb. That's all he cares about. That's all he dreams about. That's all he eats, sleeps. That is what he wants to do with his life. A lot like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant hoops in the offseason. He goes and plays pickup games at Rucker Park. He's in the gym constantly.
Yeah.
Wemby's cut from the same cloth. He is a guy who eats, sleeps, breathes basketball. Like, that's what he cares about. He didn't care about nightlife. He didn't care about going out. He doesn't care about those other distractions, as he likes to call them. His singular focus is hoop. And so burnout with Wemby is not a concern for me. The only thing you worry about is wear down, maybe, but at the same time, it's the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like, did we worry about Manu being burnout? Did we worry about Tony being burnout?
Nope.
Why are we worried about Wemby being burnout?
Because it's Wemby. That's why. It's Wemby.
I mean, but that's my point. Like, we keep talking about it like he's going to just give up basketball. Like, that's not going to happen. He loves the game on a level that probably a lot of us don't even comprehend, if we're being honest with ourselves. And so with that fact, this is just more practice, more lab time, more competition for him. This is just stuff that he relishes and enjoys, and will be able to pick up on more tendencies from more NBA players from playing against them more. Like, I see this more as a good thing than a potential bad thing.
Yeah, I'm going to be catching my eye on that. I'm going to be watching, looking around to see, how he does, because, he's had a whirlwind since before he came to the NBA. He was playing late up until the draft, with the Mets 93, I remember. And then he goes to the draft. And then it's all that hoopla and everything. Then he comes to San Antonio, more hoopla. Preseason, training camp. Look, at least I guess the benefit is that the Spurs season ended quick. So there's that. But then he goes into, the Olympic training camp, now the Olympic tournament, and then a short rest period. I'm pretty sure, even though Wemby may be saying, I'm good, Pop, and coaching staff, I can play 30-plus minutes, I think they might be regulating his minutes to start the season.
I wouldn't be shocked, but
I'm not gonna be shocked.
I mean, regulating his minutes in terms of what?
Just load management.
Well, sure, but I mean, we saw that last year with him. Like, this isn't new, and I imagine it's going to be, as long as Pop is the head coach of the Spurs, something that they're going to do at points in time during every season. that Pop is at the helm.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to load manage him. They were going to load manage him even if he did. It's them being careful with the invaluable product that they have, right?
Yeah.
So this entity that they have has no discernible price tag on it. It is literally priceless.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to do everything in their power at all times to make sure that it is probably A, its best version of itself, and B, elongating that potential career as long as possible. Because let's face it, basketball players playing, it's an odometer, right? And LeBron's cracked the secret to being able to take care of his body in a way of which he's able to play late into his career despite massive minutes. I'm pretty sure Wemby is already on that path with what he does. I mean, you've seen his pregame ritual in terms of warming up and agility and mobility and pliability. Like, he does more to take care of his body than any other Spur on that team, or probably outside of LeBron, any other player in the NBA.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't anticipate, I want to say burnout. Will he hit the wall? Maybe, sure. That might happen, but I think he'll bust out of that if he does hit the wall because, look, you also throw in the fact that he's going to have a bigger target on his back. The teams are not going to be sleeping on San Antonio as much anymore moving forward. Wemby, especially, the entire NBA got themselves a good sample size of how to try to defend him. So they're going to be throwing different looks at him. But no, I'm with you. I don't think there will be massive hitting the wall, burnout from Wemby. I think you're going to complement the Spurs managing that load for him moving on. But where do you see Team France going? Do you see them medaling bronze, silver, or gold?
Team France? Yeah,
Team
I could
France.
see them. I could see them on the medal stand at the end of the day. USA, France, and maybe Canada, probably in the 1, 2, 3 range. That would be if I was to guesstimate where the Olympics finish in terms of basketball. That's probably close to the order of finish, I would think. Maybe a team like Germany, maybe another Australia. But I mean, right now, as it stands, I would say U.S., Germany, or U.S. and France are I don't want to say surefire bets to medal, but they feel like pretty safe bets if you're going to bet in Vegas. And like Canada or Australia would probably be my dark horse to sneak in on the medal stand.
Absolutely. He is James Pledger with San Antonio Sports Star. Follow him on X at @IamPledger, host of Extra Innings. We'll talk about that in just a few seconds. Hey, we're going to be discussing you guys next, Locked On Spurs fans, and what are y'all talking about over at the YouTube page?
Hey, this is Hot Rod.
And I'm RC from Cybertron Springs.
And you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with James Pledger. He is with San Antonio Sports Star. Follow him on X at @IamPledger. Check out his show, Extra Innings. He'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Hey, it's time to talk about you guys, Locked On Spurs fans, in the comments you're leaving over at the YouTube page. And right off the bat, we got a question or a comment, James, about Stephon Castle. Now, we got Frank Santini in 4990. He comments, Castle reminds me of the OKC All-Star. Castle has that same type of game. Are we already going there, Frank Santini? Are we going to go already and say Castle is a comp to SGA? I think I got to pump the brakes a little bit, Frank Santini. He hasn't played a single NBA minute yet.
Let's kind of grind the hype train a little bit. I love Castle. You know this. He was my favorite pre-draft. Them getting him was massive to me, and I think that with this team and the role that he's going to be in, not being asked to do, start and be a significant piece right off the bat, plus his defense,
Yeah.
Like those are going to be things that are going to translate very quickly. And I think his ability to drive, kick, penetrate, like those are going to help him when it comes to getting buckets. And then, of course, playing with a guy like Victor Wembanyama, who is so selfless, is going to be also added in his ability to score easier buckets, in my opinion. I think he's got a chance for Rookie of the Year. I don't think it's great knowing that he is a probably bench player for the most part on this team currently, but I do think he can carve out a very, very important role on this team with that second unit.
All right. Thank you for that comment, Frank Santini. We'll keep the castle theme going. Our next comment is from Kurabu. I hope I'm doing that right. Kurabo 6495. He comments, I think Castle, could be the next George Hill. High IQ and athletic. Now, James, you got a lot of these reaction because on Friday's show last week, we were trying to play a game. Who does Castle compare to when it comes to former or present Spurs?
Sure.
We leaned towards like a ceiling of being Alvin Robertson as a peak, and then maybe immediately D White. But Kura is saying George Hill. What do you think? You think George Hill's a good comp, or you think there's another former or current Spur he compares to?
I can see Castle hitting a higher level than George Hill. I could see Castle becoming an all-star at some point in his career. Low level, low end of the spectrum, George Hill, possibly, sure. His defense allows that for him. His length, his tenacity, and wanting to play defense are very George Hill-like, sure. I could see it. But, I mean, we did the same thing with Wemby last year, man. Yeah. Wemby is Wemby. Castle's going to be Castle. Will there be elements of somebody's game that it might remind you of? Sure. Are they one-for-ones? Never. Nobody that we ever see is a one-for-one of somebody else. And it's very difficult to put that on somebody else, whether it's SGA or even George Hill. Like, allow Stephon Castle to be Stephon Castle because he is coming into the NBA at a much more advanced spot than I think George Hill did coming out of IUPUI. And he's also much more refined offensively.
I think Castle's defense is going to translate immediately and pretty fast into the NBA. You'll be able to stick him on, your SGAs, your Luka Doncic. He wants Luka Doncic. Add in the fact that Popovich has already given him his vote of confidence as he spoke with during the Summer League to ESPN. That bodes well for Castle's future. Hey, we thank y'all for leaving those comments, but we're not going to let James go quite yet because he's still not wearing a Lauri Markkanen jersey. James, it looks like things kind of stalled a bit. It looks, you got reports saying that now it's probably not going to happen after all.
Well, maybe not. I mean, we are getting closer to that August 6th deadline, but remember, as we get closer to that deadline, maybe the talks ramp back up, right?
But there was a report of what the Jazz would reportedly want, and it was a haul.
It's a haul.
It was a haul, and the Spurs can afford it, but will they do it? We'll know if the Spurs make a move because that loud screaming and cheering from San Antonio, that will
be right here.
Coming right from the Star. Hey, speaking of the Star, what's going on? What's cooking? I know you guys are already in Dallas Cowboy mode with training camp. What's going on with extra innings as well?
Well, this week kicks off our Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboys training camp coverage. And the guys will be live all week long from the Riverside Complex in Oxnard, side of the Dallas Cowboys camp. All the latest, including player interviews, Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott. Like, we're going to have it all on the Star this week. So early in the morning with Rob and AJ from 6 to 10, which is 4 to 8 their time. And with the Blitz from 2 to 6. And, of course, extra innings will be wrapping it all up from 6 to 7. So Dallas Cowboys training camp mode hard and fast this week, as we'll be bringing you all the latest, plus everything going on with the Olympics and Wemby, and monitoring that Lauri Markkanen thing, and of course on Extra Innings this week.
Again, he is James Pledger with San Antonio Sports Star. Follow him on X at @IamPledger. Talk to him about nerd stuff. He'll love to talk to you about that and sports as well. Hey, we'll be back later this week. Yes, we're now officially on off-season mode. There will not be one daily. I finally get a break. I won't be bothering James as much anymore for a few months leading into the training camp. But we'll be back later this week with more Spurs stuff to discuss right here on Locked On Spurs. Check out Locked On Sports Today, 24/7 streaming channel only on YouTube, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network. So for James Doom Pledger, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.